Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back with the TED Show. Finally, I get to see my dear, wonderful, amazingly talented, beautiful friend, Kendra Davies with Stellar Life Coaching. We are back with Talk It Out. This topic is so important. I got so much feedback. I didn't tell you, Kendra, before we went live. They're like, my web is apparently being funny today. I am back. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you. How are you?
I am so good. I am good.
You are. I mean, whatever you can share with them, give them a little bit about what's been going on with you. I've had lots of questions. You're kind of like the Kelly Ripa, where everybody wants to know where you've been. Can't make that up. And I'm like, I don't know. We've had crazy schedules. She's busy traveling the world with Richard Branson and Forbes and all that good stuff. So give us the 411 on what's been going on with you.
Yeah, I have been, we had our first stateside retreat with the Phoenix retreat. I'm still slaying dragons in the coaching world and maintaining my clients. And it's been a lot. And I am working on a book.
In your spare time.
Yeah. With the abundance of spare time that I have. And I've been kind of contributing and working with a PR firm. Shout out to UBA and Rhonda Swan. I've been working with them and they've been fantastic. And I actually had a recent feature in Forbes.
I mean, what was that like when you got that information? Like, did you freak out? I would freak out.
So it's one of those things where they're like, yeah, this is going to happen. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, here's, because it's like expert advice. So I'm like, okay, here's my expert advice. And then I'm like, it's whatevs, like it's like weeks in between. Like I wrote the thing, like I overthought it. I sweated it out. I waited till the last minute. They were like, we need this by 9 p.m. And it's like 8:42. And so I write it, I hit send and I'm like, whatever, it's going to be. And then they're like, it's going to go live. And I'm like, and then they sent me the cover images. And I was like, okay, it's getting real.
This is real.
This is so real.
Forbes is a big deal.
Ted, I have a Google alert notification that was like, Forbes.com used your name. And I was like,
you got to frame that. It's like the first dollar bill at a restaurant. I mean, these are big deals.
It's so big and it's so beautiful. And I'm so pumped. It's exciting. It's momentum.
I'm so excited for you. Well deserved. You make such an impact on people. That's my version. All right. Congratulations. Big kudos to you. Big deal. Love the pictures from the retreat too, which I think a lot of people asked about all of the extracurricular stuff you do, meaning webinars, workshops, seminars,
online courses. All the things.
So I'm very glad that you shared some of those pictures. I think that people are hungry for what you do. We all kind of need it. We just don't know where to go for it. So that's why this show is so important, because it gives people an insight into what you do and your knowledge. And we're all hungry for that too.
Well, let's do it. I'm here.
Let's do it. All right. So I posted this crazy thing and, I don't create my own memes. So do not, I get people go, that's such a good one, Ted. Okay. For the record, I'm not creating this. I'm stealing it and repurposing it. And this one was good. It said something about one life, just one life. Why aren't we all running like we're on fire toward our wildest dreams? And it spoke to me. And apparently it spoke to you too. So that's our topic today. So what was it about that meme that got you? Because it really spoke to me immediately. I'm like, I must share this.
Well, for me personally, with everything that's going on, between working with the PR firm, like managing all the things, I definitely feel like I am on fire. And I feel like I'm running towards my wildest dreams. Like, this is shit that I did not think
This is it.
would be possible, right? Like, and I think it's all happening. And I think all of the energy and the effort and the momentum that is being built, I feel it. I feel like that is what I'm doing now. But what actually inspired me to say, I want this to be our topic, isn't that the good shit that I'm in now. It's that feeling of like, I can't, I won't, it's impossible. It's not going to happen for me. Who am I to think that I can do this? You know, like it was the negative thoughts and the mindset that I had just before I made the decision.
This is so important. I want people to understand what you're saying. And correct me if I'm wrong. The Forbes thing is giant. So Kendra gets to be in Forbes because she is that talented. I'll say it. You don't have to. That doesn't mean it doesn't come along with questions about why, or, oh my God, I'm going to look like an idiot, or God, who wants to listen to me? Why would anybody want to listen to what Kendra Davies? There are still insecurities might be the wrong word. You'll frame it for me.
No, you can say it.
Insecurities of, holy crap, you're going to find out I'm not the person you think I am. It can be very overwhelming. Yeah. So when you share that, it's so good, because I think people look at us sometimes and wonder, oh God, I wish I was like them. I wish I had every bit of confidence in the world. And listen to me, we struggle every day like you do. So I'll let you take it from there.
Well, and that's exactly why I wanted to talk about it, because I think that, and even on the journey, right? Like if I was to just look at the surface of things, right? There was a moment that turned and I started to garner more attention and momentum publicly. Yeah. And all the way up until that moment happened, I was like, I'm just going to do this because I love it. And then that's it. And then all of a sudden, when I got the attention, and then I started to freak out, right? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I would say out loud, I can't be the face of this. I would say it. Like the people around me would be like, Kendra, like, why did you say? I turned down opportunities to be on TV. I was saying no to my wildest dreams of getting to have the impact that I wanted to affect the lives of the people that I wanted to impact the most. And I was saying no. And
why? Why were you saying no?
I mean, fear, insecurity, doubt. I thought I needed to have all these check boxes checked first. I thought that, I needed somebody that was like bigger than me to come in and like, be like, I deem you worthy, you know?
They were going to invite you.
Yeah. Like how many Google reviews do I need before I can accept that it's a positive experience when people work with me? Right? Like, I don't know. I had this imaginary, arbitrary line drawn in the sand, and I was saying no. I was afraid of what I look like. I was afraid of what people would think about me. I was afraid, honestly, I was afraid of trolls. I was afraid of getting negative reactions. Right?
Listen to me. For the record, here's how I deal with trolls. Just think of the name, what they look like. You're done. We're not going to care about trolls anymore.
Well,
one thing that we had, a couple people have commented. You're the coach, though. You tell people the exact same thing that you weren't necessarily allowing yourself to believe in and implement and accept. Sure.
Well, isn't that always the case?
Always. That's what I want people to understand. We are human. Like we go through the same things you do, which is why somebody like Kendra can actually really coach you, because she's dealt with it. This isn't some made up thing she studied in a book. You know the feelings that people are going through.
Yeah, and I also think that just generally speaking, like when your friends come to you and they talk to you about their shit, you're like, yeah, I got solutions for that. Boom, 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 boom. It happens every to you. Time. You're like, what do I do? I don't know. Right? It's like when we're in our own shit, we can't see. Yeah. Yes. And I feel like I wanted this topic because I want to address that, right? Like, I think that I often get asked for, what are the the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps I got to do to just break out and have my time in the limelight. And the answer is always, you just do it. And nobody loves that.
No, because you haven't given them the formula, the exact instructions
Exactly
on how to go from point A to point B seamlessly and dreamfully and successfully. You've told them you just got to jump.
You just got to jump, but it's not just the jump. It's that when you jump, you commit to something. If you don't make a choice, if you don't say, I want X, you will always get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way, everything but X. You'll get all that. You'll cast this wide net. You'll get a bunch of shit that you didn't want. And you'll say, well, why don't I have what I want? Why don't I have what I want? And it's because we have to jump. We have to be willing to try and to fail. And like, I knew the moment that the momentum started building and I started writing the articles and I started working with the writers and I started doing the things, I'm like, Kendra, this shit is going to get real. Like, it's going to happen. Are you ready? And my answer was yes.
Good.
Yes.
As it should be.
I'm
because
terrified.
most people would a lot of people would self-sabotage that.
Yeah. Oh, and there's going to be a chapter in my book called Self-Sabotage and how I did it for like the first
Literally, let me write the foreword to that chapter because I get it.
And this is like part of the process, you know? Like getting to that commitment is about getting rid of all that other shit, all the shit that's in the way. You know, what is in the way is the way. It is the way. The thing you say you can't do, the thing you say is impossible, most of the time, it's actually that you have to do, right? Was it Eleanor Roosevelt? She said, do one thing every day that scares you.
Yes.
And I feel like when we talk about running towards our wildest dreams, like working with passion and believing that that thing is true, it requires us to do the things that scare us. We have to be willing to try and to fail. I got to be willing to take, you know, ignore the trolls. Maybe. I don't know really what I'm going to do there. I don't know. Whatever it is.
I'm ugly naked. It's terrible.
I'm going to follow Brene Brown. And if you're not in the arena with me, I don't really give a shit about what you have to say.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's my mentality. Like, I've got ideas, yes, of how I can do this and how I can move forward. And I think that, you know, the Forbes article was about fear. And this idea, like what I contributed was the idea that fear is a necessary emotion. It's a helpful emotion. And it also pushes us to realize that we make a choice and you can choose to be in fear. Like, we're conditioned, right? Some of us are conditioned when we feel fear, we just stop. We're like, nope, risk
yes, too high. We retreat, we stop,
all together.
We'll go any other direction.
Exactly. And then there's the other one on the other end of the spectrum, and this is where I lived for the most of my life, was like, oh, I'm scared. Fuck it. You know? Gas and matches.
You know, that's where I'm at too. Every day. And some days I'm like, wow, did you just do that? What'd you get yourself into? But it's also very emancipating. It is to be able to just go screw it to the fear and actually jump in. The problem is that we are so conditioned. You mentioned it earlier. We're conditioned to find a detour around the fear.
Yeah. And there is no detour.
That's there really isn't.
You know, you can do all the other things. You can get everything but X. X is what you want, and you can get everything but X, but nothing's going to feel right.
No. So why do you keep going for A, B, C, D, E, F, G when you want X?
Well, and I think it ultimately has to be to parse out and separate these things, you know, like, I don't want you to be gas and matches, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm gas and matches anymore. I don't. I feel like I am very much like, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to let myself decide in the moment. I'm going to try this on. I'm going to be present with it. I'm going to feel my fear. I'm going to utilize it. If it's telling me no, then part of this practice is learning to say no. And there were times where I was genuinely just not ready. Like, logistically, I would not be able to handle some of the momentum that could be generated by some of the opportunities that were presented to me. And then other times I'm like, I will find a way. My answer is yes. Right? So learning to actually listen to ourselves, not let the fear dictate what we do and what we don't do. You know, I often tell the story, like the first year of Stellar was a failure. You know, by all accounts, it was a failure. I think I had like maybe 4 clients. I lost a lot of money. And, you know, it came down at the end of the day, you know, my ex was like, you failed, you need to get a job. Like, you need to like support the family. Like, what are we doing? And I remember I fixed my resume. I started looking for jobs. And I got a phone call. Like this guy, he was like, I need an executive coach. And he offered me a lot of money. It didn't work. But that call gave me hope. And the thing that was alive in me, the voice that was in me said, I do not want to work for another person. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I want to do this, and I want to do this for me. And so I was like, trash everything that I thought it had to be before, the vision that I thought what I thought it had to look like. I thought I had to have an office and fancy furniture, and I had to have multiple phone lines, and I had to have all of this shit. And then when I got rid of that, I was like, yeah, I'll be your coach. I'll meet you at Starbucks. Because I didn't have an office, right? Like,
right.
I had to get rid of what I thought it was, and I had to be willing to do the hard work, and do it in a way that I wasn't comfortable with, that wasn't ideal. I still had clients while I was in my hourly office space downtown. I still had clients when I had no office and I was meeting them at Panera and Starbucks. I still did it, and it grew. It grew exponentially. And now here we are, almost 8 years later. It's
look at what you have accomplished. I think the takeaway always is that we all still struggle. So I want people to know that, Kendra, I feel like I'm in a blessed place. I'm in a good place. I'm a yes person. But I also know my no's. But I'm not perfect at it. I'm pretty sure I fail at something every day. There's something I didn't do the way I wanted to, speak the way I wanted, a plan didn't unravel. That doesn't diminish everything I have worked for up to that point, and it should not be the gap, the wall that stops me from getting to the continued stuff that I want to do.
No. In my experience, it's the foundation. You know,
Agreed.
the rubble of my first year of business, that became the foundation I built my business off of. Is Slay Sessions, my goal setting workshop that's online and available today.
Wait, there's more.
Slay Sessions was built after that first year or two, where I slowly had to recalibrate my mind. I had to start moving through what was in the way of my goals. Like, I had goals. I had big dreams and visions. I wanted to make this much money, but I only wanted to work 3 days a week. I was in school full time, and I wanted to get all A's. I wanted to be a great mom and be present for my family. Like, I had all of these goals, and I was just bumping around trying to figure it out, and it didn't work. And when my first year failed and my second year was just a scotch better, when all of that happened, what it ultimately did was it became the foundation. Those were the lessons. What did I do? When I came back and I said, I'm going to be curious. I don't want to avoid the discomfort of my failure. I don't want to avoid saying it was a failure. I want to embrace the fact that I failed. I want to embrace the fact that I took a stab at something. I had a vision for what I thought it needed to be. I executed beautifully, and it failed flawlessly. How? Why? What was the thing? And do you know what was the biggest change?
Tell me, because I'm fascinated.
It wasn't my office or the furniture or my car. The biggest change came when I realized that I was putting on dresses and business suits to go to the office, wearing heels, and not that any of that is bad. But if you know me, I am like...
I was going to say a dress and heels.
I'm a I'm more of like a flip-flops gal, but I also cursed like a sailor. So that first year I was dressing it up and toning it down. I was like playing small. Like, how do I be what people want
You
me
were
to be?
conforming.
Yeah, but not to what anybody else said, to what I
Your
thought.
perception of what you thought people wanted you to be.
And when I came back, like the first time I did what is now the Slay sessions by myself, right? Like, and I really broke it down. What I found was two things. If I'm not going to be me, this isn't going to work. Because even if I got success, I would still feel like a fraud and I would feel shitty and it's not going to work.
Nobody would believe you.
And listen, I'm going to curse like a sailor. I'm probably not going to wear shoes. And, I'm going to do my best to put on my makeup for you, but I am going to be so present for you that it's going to blow your mind. I'm just not going to have shoes on and I'm going to say fuck a lot.
There is nothing wrong with either of those.
And if that's not your
Here's
people,
the deal, though. It's you. It's your reality. It's your parameters. You set them. And I think so many people, you brought up something earlier that's so important. Your perception most of the time of how you think people want you to behave is so far removed from their minds, their thoughts. They don't give an ish about it. And you are putting all of this emphasis on what your perception is rather than you and how you are and what you know the authentic, vulnerable self is.
Yeah. And I think that when I chose to be myself, right? And I decided that no matter what, if I'm going to fail, I want to fail being myself.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I looked at that first year, I knew I was fraudulent. I knew I was just trying to be anything to get the outcome that I thought was necessary. And when I said, forget that, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to be myself. If you don't want to work with me, I'm totally okay with you saying no to me. So long, see you later. Some people did say no. That was hard. It's much, much harder. I'm not going to act like I was like, oh, Grace.
No, it's not easy because you're like, why don't you see the same vision I do? You don't get it?
But then
you're still true to yourself.
But then the yeses came. And what happened is the work that I started doing was way more meaningful. All of a sudden, the connections that I'm making with people, it feels like home. It feels like I'm excited to do what I do. I'm excited to learn more about how I can be better. Like it became a way of living, right? Like all of a sudden, I get paid to be myself. And by being myself, I can serve others. I don't have to hide the dark bits. I don't have to pretend to be perfect. I get to use every single bit of my story to serve other people. Every single bit. I don't have to curate any of the pieces. They all serve.
I love that word, curate. That's one of my favorite words. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people, they struggle with. Besides the perception, they don't know, they haven't defined what their wildest dreams are in a way that they even know how to begin to take the first step. Now, did I want to be an astronaut when I was 11? Probably. I don't know what I wanted to be. Probably not what I am right now. I can tell you that. I didn't know any better, but I think a lot of people don't know how to define what that is. And so there's so much struggle. Like they look at you and go, she is meant to be a life positivity coach. She says what she feels. But that's not something that is easily defined. And I think a lot of people try to put themselves into these parameters that the rest of the world might know, or, oh, I understand that. Most people don't understand what I do, and I know they don't understand what you do. And that's okay. Why is that bad? That's the part I'm like, I don't care if I understand what you do. Are you happy doing it? Are you making impact? Is it doing well for you? Are you supporting yourself? Is this what you're running toward on fire? Good, I support you. I don't have to understand all of it, but your passion and your belief system will drive you past all of those haters, those people that say you have to be in this little square box. You're a life coach, Kendra. Don't you have lifecoach.com? Aren't you certified in 75 different people's pretend certifications? It's all bull.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I'm big on definitions. Yeah. I'm big on defining things for yourself. Define what it means to be successful. Define what it means to be authentic and honest, and define what it means to be you 100%. And then also realize that you're totally allowed to wake up tomorrow and be like, fuck that.
I don't want that anymore.
And
Yes.
then you can go back to the drawing board. But here's the thing. The only way out is through. There is no shortcut. It isn't going to be or feel easy. You know, learning to love yourself often starts by admitting that you fucking don't.
Exactly.
Learning to embrace and choose a dream starts by saying, I have never asked myself what I want from my own life. That is a tough realization. But guess what? Until we do that, we don't get to the joy. We want the joy. We want just add water, shake it.
Seriously, immediate satisfaction, gratification.
We all want it. That's the human condition. And what we're ultimately do, what a coach of any kind ultimately does, is helps point the light towards the dark bit that you're trying to ignore and says, perhaps that's actually the path. Perhaps the discomfort that you're trying to ignore or avoid or deny is actually the keys to the kingdom. Perhaps what is on the other side of that fear is your wildest dream. And you won't get to it. You won't be able to define it unless you choose to say, choose. I'm going to do it anyways. And if it messes up, I'm going to change my mind and I'll do something else. Think about it, Ted. How many different careers have you had in your time? Different careers, different industries, different businesses.
I mean, it's insane, the amount.
I had like at least 12 different jobs by the time I was 24. You know what I'm saying? Like between 16 and 24, I was like, yeah, I want to work in an animal hospital. Yeah, I want to work retail. Yeah, I want to be an administrative assistant. Yeah, I want to do your taxes. Yeah, I want to do this. You just say yes to the thing that is there. I don't need a full definition of what it is that you want. I don't need you to be able to watercolor your wildest dreams. I need you to tell me if it's east, north, west, what direction are we going? Boom. One step that direction. Everything else will unfold.
Agreed.
If you don't know what direction it is, ask yourself why you're not doing the thing that you want to do. And that why, that is the direction you go. Everything else will come from that. Everything.
All right. So there you have it from the one and only Kendra Davies. See how fast that went? Jeez, we gotta do these more often. Sorry. It's been a day. And that is only water. God, all of you people, they just happened to put my water in a wine glass, I swear. I tell you if it was. People actually messaged me and said, is that wine? No, I wish it was. All right. What's the best way for them to reach out to you to learn more about what you do, to find out about slaying and life coaching and positivity?
So you can go to stellarlifecoaching.com to get all of the information. You can also find me on Instagram at stellarcoach. And if you are following Ted at all, you have the access to me on Facebook. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. Slay Sessions, the goal setting workshop, is actually online, and we're doing a special right now, so it's only $99. Nice. You may want to get on that. That's and awesome. Then, if you want to see the Forbes article, find me on Instagram at stellarcoach, and the link is in my bio.
I love it. Congratulations. Amazing. Well-deserved. Forbes is only the beginning for you. I know it. Love you to pieces. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and soul with us. It was excellent as always. Go to stellarlifecoaching.com or reach out to me. I will get you in touch with Kendar or Kendra.
And to be honest, Ted, I never even read the article. I get past like my picture and then Forbes, and I'm like,
it's a stupid, crazy English insanity degree, and it's not even a full degree. I have a minor in English. My children hate it though. They call me the red pen guy. You're amazing. Thank you, guys. Listen, run, get on fire about something in your life, please, and run toward it. And if you need any kind of help, you got Positivity Life Coach right here. The stellar one, Kendra Davies. All right, we'll be back next week. We love you guys. See you soon. Bye, everybody.